Hey, hi everyone, welcome to Outside Lives. This is a video for the digging group, and we're going to be talking all about the plant swap initiative today. And Lucy is going to be asking all of the people who've been involved in the plant swap some questions, so you can see what it's all about and how successful it's been and what it's been doing for the community. So at this point I'm going to hand over to the host with the most, or hopefully anyway, and Lucy asking the questions. So over to you, Miss Powell.
Thank you, Mrs. Applewhite. Okay, so each one of you wonderful people has started a plant swap table in your local community. So that's why I'm going to fire away and ask Toni the first question. So where did the idea for your plant swap table come from, Toni, please?
Okay, so originally I did from a different group a safe chalk activity with my daughter on the pavement, so all the children came over to that, so that was really good. And then I thought, right, well, I've got a surplus of plants and house plants and vegetable plants, so I had a look on Pinterest at ideas where I can get plants around the community, and they have plant swap stations everywhere. So I just started off with a banana box and a little message, and then ended up with a table. And actually my mum's just let me know that she's made me a pallet table ready.
Oh,
so I'll have to fill it now.
Oh yeah, well that's the community's job to fill it, I think, isn't it? You get the table out there and people just donate. Okay, so what inspired you, Chris? What made you make your table, please?
So there was a few things that inspired me, really. Mainly these people. Firstly, these guys inspired me. So I was on the digging group on Facebook, and I saw these tables popping up around the place, around Flintshire, where people could go and swap plants, take plants and start growing, which is really cool. So definitely these people around me has inspired me. The second thing, probably gardening. Is inspirational, definitely, and I sow too many things, so I always have surplus plants, and I think everyone here probably has the same thing. So instead of my compost bin having them or cramming too much into my garden, I think that this is a solution to share them and have that warm feeling inside that you know that somebody in your community is growing them, which is really cool. And hopefully along the line we might get some feedback to see where those plants have gone, which will be quite cool. The third thing was it's a way to fundraise as well. I saw that some of these other tables were fundraising, and I thought it might be a good way to do some fundraising. I chose to fundraise for Chester Zoo. Chester Zoo was going through a pretty, well, still is, not a great time at the minute, and I thought I'll put any donations that people might be able to do at the time, I'll put them towards Chester Zoo. So I thought that was a pretty cool function of a community table. So those are the things that have inspired me to do it.
And how long's your table been out for now, Chris?
It's been out just under a week now.
Great. Okay, so Sass, did you want to say something? Did you want to add something in there?
I did. It was, but Chris obviously sort of expanded, and you get to the point because you're worried about plants not seeding, so you plant a load thinking, well, you know, some are going to die, and then they don't. And then you nurture them, and then you think, well, I'm not throwing them away. And I mean, I put some on the wall just outside my house, just on the wall, in case any passers-by wanted them. And they started to go. So, you know.
That's where yours
throwing them away, and somebody else needed them. So you just wanted to, not let things go to waste.
And Sarah, why did you put yours where you put it?
Well, it's sort of similar, but I was a bit stuck, you see, because with working sort of up to Easter, I hadn't really got myself organised, so I wasn't really very organised with the whole planting thing. So I hadn't been out to get seeds or plants or anything, and I was on a bit of, to be honest, I was on a bit of a scrounge really, because I was like, I actually need some stuff for my garden. And then I kind of went, actually, we're going to end up with lots of things left over. And I put a little message out on our street WhatsApp, which we've created in the lockdown. And I sort of said, has anybody got anything that they don't want? Obviously, originally that was kind of like thinking, I need some stuff for me. And then actually loads of stuff emerged. And it was like, well, where is all this stuff going to go? So we ended up creating one because somebody had planted the most enormous amount of, like, they put a whole packet of cabbage seed in one pot, and they put cabbage seeds, and I ended up with all these cabbage plants. So there's no way I'm going to use them all, so I ended up then having to repot them all. And then once you've repotted them all, you're kind of like, I'm not letting those go now. They've got to go to somebody that's actually
got to survive. Yeah,
got to grow. So yeah, it was, so I guess it wasn't that altruistic to begin with, and then it kind of grew from there. But there were lots of people that also said, we haven't got tomatoes, or actually we've never grown anything before, we don't really know what we're doing. Can we have a go, and is there anything that we want? And actually soon it became a bit of a, it was almost like a black market on our kind of WhatsApp group of things exchanging hands. And so we sort of said, well, actually taking ideas from Saskia, actually putting stuff on her wall, and putting stuff out by 5 kennels as well. Thought, well, perhaps we should put a stand out. And we're right in the middle of mould, so we have lots of people passing, and we soon realised that we'd need a proper table. So that was
the whole family.
That was the whole family. So that was my youngest daughter, age 12, and her dad. And actually, it was supposed to be her project, but I think he took over a little bit. But I do have evidence that she was involved, and so we've kind of, not every day, but the girls have been involved in putting them out, bringing them in, and of course every day is different. You don't know what's going to be there, so the real love is kind of going along at the end of the day and going, oh, where did they appear from? And seeing all these amazing things. So we have got some green-fingered people in our street, and there's been lots of people also digging stuff out to make space for vegetables. So they've been taking out their things that look pretty, and to make space for things that can grow food. So that's really exciting too.
So Toni's mum's made her the table. Your family have made the table, Sarah, and then, but Chris, I just want you to explain where your table come from, because you've made all sorts out of something, haven't you? And the table being one of those things.
Yeah. So I had a shed at the bottom of the garden, and we were getting rid of the sheds. It definitely needed to go. So I made this table out of it, but also that shed is now a rabbit run. It is a storage box. It is a bin store, and it's a bit of trellis now. It's a few different things now. So I've reused it as much as I can. It's going to be a living roof as well. So I'm going to make a few bits of living roofs on top of these things I've made. So yeah, I've used it as much as I can to try and make it not go just a landfill, I guess. So the best thing I think is definitely the table. So now it's out there in the community, having a real function, which is really cool.
And beautifully decorated as well. I think your daughter Sarah's made the sign, or was that you, Sarah?
Bit of a team effort, and I have to say the rain washed it off several times, so now it's a new sign every day.
Nice.
And your girlfriend's done the decoration on your plant swap table, Chris. So they're lovely, aren't they? All of them are so different. Toni, have you had any feedback from anybody in your local community?
Yeah, so I've had quite a few cards left on the table. Obviously, I've had lots of different plants, you know, like I wanted some herb plants for my garden personally, so I've had an overload of them, so some of them have had to go back on. I've actually had a couple of bottles of Prosecco and champagne. Willow's had some sunflower plants as well. lots of messages, private messages and things like that on Facebook where they found me, and yeah, lots, really nice.
And there's been lots of conversations, obviously, on the dig-in group, but other places where we've shared pictures of the tables. It sparked conversations about the one in, you know, all of them, you know. People really like the idea. And I suppose what this is about is inspiring other people to just do that, you know. It's not that you need lots to put on it, because they almost run themselves, is what you're saying, Sarah. Do you want to elaborate on that? You know, you don't need much to start it.
Not at all. And I mean, even things like pots, you don't necessarily need pots. You can make your pots out of paper, which we did with a bit of newspaper that we had. So that was a bit of another project to kind of get to grips with folding things. Although also with the pots, I did run out at one stage, because obviously with your repotting things on as they get bigger, you then start to run out of them. But I put a little shout out and I ended up with a third pot, so that was easy too. And it means that there's no new stuff, it's all just being recycled around the community, so that's really good too.
And Chris, you've got a solution for the pot thing on your plant swap table, haven't you? You've put a basket on the side of the table and asked for pots, so people are dropping pots off, which I thought was a cool addition.
It's also something to think about now as well, because the basket's overflowing. So now I need to think about what to do with these pots, because I can't use them all. So I've gone back to maybe I need to share them around the
pot
digging.
swap.
Yeah, and it needs to be a bit of a pot swap group maybe. But so I need to go back to people and say, does anybody else need pots to pot things up and things like that?
So I suppose this goes to anybody really. Is there any advice that you've got for anybody thinking about starting this up themselves? Obviously, it's, you know, you've talked about how it brings the community together, people sharing things. It's nice to give. It's nice to take something away. It's nice not to have to go and use the shops. It's nice to see your plants have a life beyond the compost heap. But is there any advice that you've got for people starting up their own?
Just do
Sarah,
it.
just do it. Yeah.
Just do it. It's great fun, and we've had lots of conversations with people over the garden gate as a result of it. It's advice wise, you know, you just need to drop it out there in the morning and pick it up in the evening, and then it's like just treat it as a surprise at the end of every day. It's something to look forward to as to, you know, what's there. It's really, really lovely.
So you've been bringing yours in, Sarah, haven't you, at the end of the day?
I have actually, but in the thunderstorm, I've actually just left it out there now, and I'm thinking they can survive. It's warm, but it's when the temperature changes, I've been sort of bringing them in. And we've got quite a lot of little baby peppers on there at the moment, and I kind of feel a bit like they might be a bit vulnerable out in the open. So
nurturing them.
So we have had a little sack trolley, because we have a sack trolley, we're lucky. So we've been wheeling them in and out of the greenhouse in the sack trolley. So it's been a bit of an enterprise really, but it's been great fun. We have a little girl who lives on our street who really is, I suppose, has been in isolation for 3 months, and she is vulnerable, but she was allowed out across the road to look at our plant store, and early on in lockdown she kept popping out. So she's a foster child, so her carers, they're very keen plants people, so she came out, and I hadn't realised it was her, but she'd come out with a little plant, a baby nasturtium in a pot with a little sign on, and said, please look after this really carefully. It was really sweet. And so it would given her something, you know, of interest to kind of focus on, and it was just, you know, you can't put money on things like that. It was just lovely to see that she was interested, and that's really, for me, it's been watching people pushing the pram down the road with a toddler by the side, and then them stopping, having a conversation, having a chat. They might not pick up anything, but it's all about realising that, you know, things don't have to be bought or sold. It's just, it can be swapped, and you don't have to have lots of money, and it's all that sort of thing that just makes it worth doing. So yeah, as Sass says, just go out and do it.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, unless anybody's got anything else to add, Kat, have you got any questions or anything that you think anybody should add? No? Well, thanks so... Oh,
I've got a question.
come on, Toni.
So I have next to my table, and I also bring mine in and out. I have my plaque with what I write on, and I swap I write something different, like swap here, or I'm doing a food bank donation, so pop anything you can. Mine's with chalk, so if it rains, I leave the plants out in the day, it washes off.
Same.
So, but because I changed the message,
Yeah.
how am I supposed to get around that other than changing the message?
I can't help you with that one. What about a brolly? Yeah, a little brolly over your sign, maybe.
Chris could make you a little bit living roof out of his shed to go over your sign.
There's plenty of the shed to go around, yeah.
Oh, but thanks so much, guys. I think what I think it's inspirational what you guys are all doing. I think it's so important. It's lovely to see people that perhaps wouldn't grow having a shot at growing, because you guys have started something off. So yeah, brilliant, and I look forward to sharing this with everybody else. So thanks for coming tonight to tell us all about it. It's really lovely to see all your smiley faces, and we'll catch up again soon, no doubt.